the penalty. Weak shot for Davis.
Not. There. Shots.
The 1980s were a time of bold fashion, revolutionary music, and some of the most unforgettable moments in American history. But for every glitzy pop concert and iconic blockbuster film, there was a sign of the decade that remained hidden, locked away in rare photographs, each carrying a story more unbelievable than the last. So join us as we unravel 25 of the most rare photos with shocking backstories from the 1980s. In 1986, a heartbreaking photo captured a mother's love in the face of unthinkable pain. Ida Jones sat cradling her son, Ryland, in San Francisco, knowing she was about to lose him to AIDS. At a time when fear and misinformation about the disease was everywhere, this powerful image forced people to see the human side of the epidemic. AIDS wasn't just some distant tragedy. It was tearing apart real families.
Disease Control says nationwide AIDS has struck 1,641 mostly homosexuals. 644 people have died from the mystery disease,
leaving parents to say goodbye to their children far too soon. Back then, many still believed in harmful myths, and patients often faced cruel judgment instead of compassion. But this photo helped shift the conversation, challenging the stigma and showing the world that behind every statistic was a person, a life, and a mother's boundless love. Back in the 1980s, the fight for LGBTQ+ rights was intense, and Brenda Prince was right there in the middle of it, camera in hand. Her photos from the protest against anti-gay laws aren't just snapshots. They're powerful glimpses into a time when people risked everything to stand up for their rights. You can almost hear the chants, feel the tension, and sense the unshakable determination in every image. These weren't just ordinary protests, they were bold, passionate fights against discrimination, and Prince's lens captured it all: the raw emotions, the unity, the defiance. Today, her work serves as a time capsule, reminding us how far we've come and how much people sacrificed to get here. It's proof that when people refuse to stay silent, change is inevitable. Michael Sergio was a brave soul with a love for films and baseball. On a crisp October day in 1986, he made a daring choice. With a parachute strapped on his back, he jumped onto the green field of Shea Stadium just before Game 6 of the World Series. The crowd was shocked by his leap, a mix of cheers and gasps filling the air. Michael, a true fan of the New York Mets, hoped to capture a moment that would last forever on film. His act, however, broke the law. Soon police arrived and he was taken away. His adventure burned bright yet brief. Next, we now glimpse the true mayhem that soon unfolded. Under a bright autumn sky, the final out echoed through Shea Stadium on October the 27th of 1986. The New York Mets celebrated their hard-won victory over the Boston Red Sox with cheers and wild abandon. Fans poured onto the field, their voices rising in a joyful chorus. The score of 8-5 marked a historic win that ended years of struggle and brought hope to an entire city. Players embraced and high-fived, their excitement lighting up the night. Every heartbeat is in tune with the spirit of champions. That memorable day became a treasure in New York's history. The wild celebration reminded all that dreams can overcome limits. It left the city eager for what was next. Next, we journey into a new era where music and vision would change the world. In a busy Manhattan office on Barrow Street, Russell Simmons held the future in his hands. It was July the 15th of 1988, and the record producer spoke on the phone with a clear purpose. The room buzzing with creative energy and the sound of new ideas.
Illustrating, description, giving, adjective experts, analyzing, summarizing, musical myth seekers, people of the youth. It's like the craziest thing I ever heard in my life. I heard that shit.
Russell was setting the stage for a revolution in music. He dreamed of launching a label that would bring hip-hop to the world. Every word he spoke carried fresh hope for talent and bold new sounds. The air of the office cracked with ambition and daring vision. The world of music was ready for a change, and he was at its heart. In February of 1980, Lake Placid in New York hosted the Olympic Winter Games. The Games carrying tension as the Cold War loomed, with protest against the Soviet Union following their move into Afghanistan. But nothing compared to the shock of the men's hockey semifinal. In a stunning upset, the United States team defeated the favored Soviet squad 4-3. The victory, later called the Miracle on Ice, filled the nation with hope and pride.
The countdown going on right now. Morrow up to Schultz. 5 seconds left in the game. Do you believe in miracles? Yes!
Every pass and goal on the icy rink told a story of courage and unity. The win reminded a divided world that even the smallest team could triumph. Barely 3 months after John Lennon's tragic death, a new threat emerged in America. On March the 30th, the newly inaugurated President Ronald Reagan left the Washington Hilton Hotel. At that moment, John Hinckley Jr. fired 6 shots at Reagan and his guards.
Jerry Parr and Ray Shattuck, as soon as that first shot goes off, they grab the president and they throw him into the car.
A stray bullet struck Reagan after bouncing off his armored limousine, wounding him. He spent 13 long days in the hospital, facing uncertainty and pain. Tragically, his press secretary, James Brady, suffered a head injury that left him changed forever. Hinckley later admitted his motive was to impress the actress Jodie Foster. This shocking event shook the nation and tested its strength. On November the 5th of 1987, a chilly day in Manhattan brought a special event. At Wallman Rink in Central Park, the rink reopened with great fanfare. Fred Trump, a well-known builder, and his son, Donald, shared a proud moment. They spoke warmly as ribbons were cut to mark the new beginning. The gathering reflected a mix of family legacy and city celebration.
Donald, you performed a great public service.
Crowds watched with hope as the rink glittered under winter lights. This public moment hinted at ambitions that would grow in the years ahead. The scene captured dreams, success, and the promise of fresh starts. Next, we step into a world where music and showmanship rule the stage. On October the 3rd of 1988, the stage at Brendan Byrne Arena came alive with magic. Michael Jackson, the king of pop, performed his soulful rendition of Heartbreak Hotel. It was the first solo concert tour of his career, and fans were spellbound. The show was a burst of energy, light, and unforgettable moves. Sponsored by Pepsi, the tour stretched over 16 exciting months across the nation. Every note and beat captured hearts and set new records in live performance. The night was filled with joy, rhythm, and the magic of music. A generation watched as pop stardom reached dazzling new heights. Imagine a sun-drenched afternoon in the 1980s, where the warm glow of summer embraced a quiet suburban backyard. Children laughed exuberantly, darting across soft, lush green grass as their playful energy filled the air with boundless joy. A classic light blue Saab 900 sat proudly in the driveway, a quintessential symbol of the era's charm and style. Nearby, a caring mom watched over her children with a tender smile, cherishing every simple moment of connection. The gentle hum of conversation mingled with the melody of laughter, encapsulating a perfect snapshot of family bonds and carefree suburban life. That timeless memory endures. In the 1980s, the personal computer ushered in a technological revolution that reshaped everyday life. With its affordability and user-friendly design, the PC quickly became an indispensable tool for work, study, and leisure. It empowered individuals to effortlessly compose documents, perform intricate calculations, and dive into captivating gaming adventures. Innovative businesses harness the power of spreadsheets.
It's at work on a book report using Scripsit on Radio Shack's Color Computer 3. It hooks up to his TV. And Jeff's at his Radio Shack Color Computer 3 playing the newest football game.
And word processing to streamline operations and boost productivity, while families discovered new ways to stay connected and share experiences across distances. As the internet began linking computers from coast to coast, communities enjoyed a newfound sense of unity and global connectivity. In the 1980s, music traveled on small cassette tapes that fit into a Walkman. Two friends shared laughter and songs as they listened to a portable cassette player outdoors. Each mixtape held special memories and told a story of youthful adventures. Though bulky and fragile by today's standards, these cassettes were cherished by music lovers. They carried whole albums and secret recordings, making every play a delightful surprise.
You really feel the music with the Sony Walkman.
The Sony Walkman is a tiny stereo cassette player with truly incredible sound.
You really feel the music.
The simple act of recording and replaying music was a daily joy. Every melody sparked nostalgia and connected hearts across the neighborhood. Thus, our journey through the vibrant 1980s gently comes to a close. The sound of cassette tapes, with their warm magnetic hum, forever reminds us of an era filled with heartfelt tunes and cherished moments. Memories will play on always. Below are 5 short backstories, each exactly 130 words, told in simple, everyday language. On October the 20th of 1987, the air over Wall Street was thick with fear and confusion. The photo captures a moment of deep shock when news of a massive market drop spread like wildfire. Just one day earlier, the Dow Jones had plunged over 508 points, more than a 22% loss, leaving traders and investors stunned.
They're calling it the Monday Massacre, the worst drop in Wall Street history.
I just came from inside and it looks like a madhouse.
It's so crazy. Nobody even expected it to be down this much.
In offices and on the trading floor, panic set in as people rushed to sell stocks and secure their money. Families worried about savings and plans, while the world watched in disbelief. This dramatic day reminded everyone that even the strongest economies can face sudden change. The image stands as a reminder of how quickly fortunes can fall and how fragile our financial world truly is. This unforgettable day changed the very course of history. On a bright day in May of 1983, the Brooklyn Bridge celebrated its 100th birthday. The photo shows a stunning view from Brooklyn, capturing the timeless beauty of the bridge as it stretches over the East River. People gathered in large numbers to join in the festive parade and to watch the sparkling fireworks light up the sky. The celebrations were full of music, laughter, and warm wishes.
But why should the rest of America care anything about it? After all, when you come right down to it, it's only a bridge. Only a bridge.
As crowds cheered during the sound and light show, the bridge stood strong as a symbol of history and unity. Families, friends, and visitors marveled at its graceful arches. On that special day, the Brooklyn Bridge not only marked a century of service, but also brought hope and joy to all who celebrated together. Its rich legacy shone brightly, uniting countless hearts across all generations. On December the 10th of 1980, a somber crowd gathered outside the Dakota Apartments. This quiet scene shows people placing bouquets and small tokens of love in memory of John Lennon. Just 2 days before, the beloved musician was tragically shot, leaving the world in deep sorrow. Many still could not believe the loss of a man who brought hope, music, and peace. In this photo, the flowers and heartfelt items speak of the admiration and grief felt by fans near and far.
Today also marks 40 years since one of the greatest tragedies to hit the music world, the death of John Lennon.
Michael George looks back at that day and the legacy Lennon leaves behind.
Lennon's music touched hearts all over the world, and his message of love remained strong. As mourners left their gifts, the air was filled with memories and quiet prayers, honoring a legend who would live forever. In every bouquet and whispered goodbye, hope and love continued to echo timelessly. On May the 2nd of 1985, FBI agents kept a close eye on the notorious Hells Angels at their headquarters on East 3rd Street. The photo shows officers watching carefully.
He comes and sees me and my friends and finds out that that's where he belongs.
After I got up Marines in '66, I started hanging out with guys in the Bronx that rode. And
as part of a large operation targeting drug trafficking. Earlier that day, over 125 arrests were made across the country, mostly of members and friends of the gang. The tension in the air was thick as agents prepared to take further action if needed. The Hells Angels, known for their rebellious image and strong brotherhood, were suddenly thrust into the spotlight. For many, this day marked a turning point in how law enforcement dealt with biker gangs. In this image, both sides of the law and outlaw world seemed to pause, each watching the other. A silent battle of wills unfolding right here. In times long ago, before cell phones were common, payphones were the link that kept people connected. In this photo from the 1980s, a woman stands by a payphone, carefully inserting a coin to make a call, every ring carrying a sense of anticipation and surprise, for you never knew who might answer.
Began charging 25 cents for a call from a phone booth. It's running commercials urging customers to give pay calls another try.
Sorry, you should have called. I should have called.
People took their time and savored the moment, enjoying conversations with friends and family through the clear sound of a landline. It was a simpler world where the art of communication meant stepping away from busy life to make that call. As technology grew and mobile phones took over, these payphones slowly faded away, leaving behind warm memories of a slower, more thoughtful time. Their gentle echo now reminding us to treasure every simple, heartfelt conversation. In a moment of great pride, the hidden face of freedom was revealed. On December the 16th of 1985, brave workmen removed the scaffolding from the mighty Statue of Liberty. Their careful hands unveiled the shining symbol that had stood silently for many years. The work was done with care and skill, so that on July the 4th of 1986, President Ronald Reagan could join in a grand rededication ceremony. Crowds gathered to cheer and marvel at the restored landmark. The statue, a beacon of hope, now welcomed visitors with a fresh glow. This event reminded everyone that even old heroes can be renewed with hard work and vision. Liberty stood tall once again, a proud sign of a nation that values freedom and renewal. This day lit a spark of hope in every heart. In the summer of 1987, a small band of Greenpeace activists made a bold stand in Gravesend Bay. Aboard the Mobro garbage barge, they unfurled a simple banner that read, "Next time, try recycling." Their clear message aimed to remind people to treat waste with care and to protect nature. But soon, harbor police intervened, ordering the demonstrators to take down the sign. Even after they replaced it, the officers insisted it be removed once more.
And in that tradition, one bears witness to events. And if that's all you can do, one has done something very important.
The key word or the buzzword was...
The barge had been tied up off Brooklyn since May, stirring up debates about trash and environmental care. Their protest brought attention to how small, everyday acts can push for big changes. The scene was a quiet call for action that touched many hearts. This brave act sparked new hope for our bright shared future. In May of 1980, nature showed its fierce power at Mount St. Helens in Washington state. A strong earthquake set off an eruption that shocked everyone. The volcano suddenly lost over 1,000 feet from its top, leaving a deep and wide crater behind. Thick clouds of ash spread across several states, darkening skies.
No matter where you are on Earth, beneath you somewhere there's water. So if something hot comes up into that water, it heats it up. It can build up enough pressure that it finally just breaks through as an explosion.
And stirring fear in small towns and big cities alike. The eruption cost the lives of 57 people and changed the land forever. Scientists and locals watched in awe as nature reshaped the Earth. Despite the loss and pain, people learned much from the event. It reminded everyone that the Earth is powerful and unpredictable, yet full of mystery and wonder. This dramatic moment in nature's history taught us to deeply respect the wild force of our planet. On June the 1st of 1980, a new era in news began with the launch of CNN, the first 24-hour television news network. At a time when news came only a few times a day, viewers were amazed to see news on TV all day long. David Walker and Lois Hart, a husband and wife team, led the very first broadcast with calm and clear voices. Their work showed that news could be shared instantly and continuously.
We have 20 receivers here, so we can tune into as many as 20 signals simultaneously that we'll have access to anywhere in the house here at CNN.
From here, the material goes literally right across the room, right here.
People from every corner of America began to trust this new way of getting information. It was a revolution that changed how we saw the world. The birth of cable news promised that no story would ever be left untold. This breakthrough in broadcasting brought hope and excitement, forever changing how news reaches our home. On September the 9th of 1981, an explosion in a generator sent shockwaves through New York City. In a blink, power was cut off from busy commercial and financial centers, including the New York and American stock exchanges. With subways stopped, Many New Yorkers had to leave work and walk home over the Brooklyn Bridge. The unexpected blackout lasted about 4.5 hours, leaving the city in eerie silence and dim lights. People shared stories of their long walks under the starry sky. Despite the confusion and minor delays, the community came together to laugh and help one another. The day showed that even in darkness, the spirit of New York remains bright and strong. This event reminded everyone that unity shines brightest when the lights go out. On September the 25th of 1981, history was made when Sandra Day O'Connor became the first woman appointed to the United States Supreme Court. At a time when most positions were held by men, her appointment broke a long-standing barrier. Sandra knew that her work was more than a personal achievement. She carried the hopes of many women who dreamed of equality. Later on NPR's Fresh Air, she spoke with honesty about her special responsibility.
Spectators applauded. Mrs. O'Connor emerged with Chief Justice Berger to pose for photographers. She said her robe, which is shorter than those usually worn in federal courts.
She believed her performance would open doors for future generations of women. Her steady voice and fair judgments changed the course of law. In this milestone moment, a new chapter began for the country, shining as a beacon of progress and fairness. Her groundbreaking presence inspired millions and truly reminded us all that courage leads to a lasting change. While one historic barrier was broken, another quiet act of courage was taking shape. On April the 1st of 1980, during a transit strike, New Yorkers found a new way to travel. Mayor Ed Koch decided to join the crowds walking across the scenic Brooklyn Bridge into Manhattan. With the subway off the streets, thousands of people took to the bridge to get to work and home. The walk was not just a journey, but a statement of unity and resilience. Mayor Koch's friendly smile and willingness to walk among the people lifted spirits. His simple act showed that leaders can share the struggles of everyday life. That day, the bridge became a symbol of hope, strength.
Construction of the suspension bridge begins in the latter years of the Great Depression in 1938. It isn't long before workers suspect there's something seriously wrong.
And the tight bond between New York City and its people. This memorable journey united the entire city, proving that even challenges bring out the best in its citizens. On October the 1st of 1982, a new world of fun and learning opened its doors in Florida. Epcot Center, Disney's second theme park, welcomed families and dreamers from all over. Its shining star was the giant round spaceship Earth ride.
But some of the original Disney ideas have been dropped, including plans for a permanent community of 20,000 residents living under a climate-controlled dome.
A journey through the history of human communication. Visitors traveled through time and space as they learned how people shared ideas from ancient days to modern time. The park mixed science and magic, sparking wonder in young and old alike. Every corner of Epcot buzzed with excitement and hope for the future. This magical kingdom became a place where dreams took flight and imagination soared. The park offered a blend of education and entertainment, inviting every visitor to explore, learn, and celebrate the spirit of innovation and discovery for endless wonder.